for joining me again. We're going to be covering Yardmaster Plus in this video. This is the second installment of our short series here where we're just kind of doing an instructional demonstration of Yardmaster Plus. So in the previous video, we covered setup, and in this video, we're going to be covering Yard View, which is sort of like the bread and butter of Yardmaster Plus. It's where you're doing all your thingies, all your moving around of cars and whatnot, so that you can, print your work orders and your switch lists out. And so yeah, let's get into it all. And I'll be honest, I'm kind of dragging today, so I'm gonna power through this, and then we're going to, maybe down the road, we'll do an update video. But anyway, so in the previous video, you added all of your stuff, your rolling stock, your towns, your tracks, your industries. So if you haven't done that yet, then check that video out and then come back to this video, because you have to go in order and you won't really be able to do much until you've done the setup. But anyway, for the people who've done the setup, now we can go into Yard View and start working with our cars. First thing we'll talk about is, after you've added in your rolling stock, you're probably looking at a bunch of zeros right in here. This is your Yard View, your summary page, and it's going to show you all of your towns, and then all the tracks, and then what are the stats for that tracks as far as totals, loads, empties, if you have hazmat cars on that track, if it's an industry track, and then how much room you have left on that track. So that will basically just tell you how many cars you can still add to that track. And anyway, you've added cars in the setup stage to your rolling stock list, your inventory, but they're not going to be showing up anywhere yet because you haven't told Yardmaster Plus where to put them. So you have to go to the offline section, because that's where they all start by default. And then we're going to click on the offline button, which is in the upper right corner right here. And this is going to list all of our cars that are currently still offline. Now, we'll go ahead and just demonstrate how that works. We got an engine here that we've added in one of our previous setup phases, and we've got it right here. We're going to go ahead and move it somewhere, which is going to be to Pine Harbor. It's an engine, so we're going to move it to the engine service track, because that's where it's currently located. So that's what this step is right here. Clicking here, selecting up your town and your track, and then clicking whatever you're adding to that track. Maybe you're adding multiple pieces of equipment, and then we're going to go ahead and click move. Okay, so that's going to relocate those to where they're actually at in the yard. So that's how you move a car from offline to online. Let's go ahead and do the opposite. So let's say you have a car that you want to get rid of. Let's say maybe this ACR 252. We have to take it off the layout, maybe clean the wheels, do some maintenance on it. Maybe you dropped it on the floor and it's just completely obliterated. Well, you can go ahead and click on the car, right-click it, right-click the car, and go down to Move Car Offline, and it's gone. It's back to your offline, so it's still there in spirit, but it's not in your yard inventory where it shouldn't, or where it's not actually at. So that's how that works. Anyway, I'm going to move on to Yard View again. So this is the screen you come to when you first click Yard View, and from here, we're going to talk about the track detail pages. Okay, so we have a bunch of cars here. This is your track detail page. This is what happens when you click on the tracks in your summary page, and you're going to see all of your cars on the track and where they're all going. And from here, if you wanted to, you could start moving these cars around. So we've got some Conrail cars right here that are actually where they need to be, right? This is Arcadia is the town we're in, and we're looking at the Conrail interchange. So these 4 cars, lines 2, 3, 4, and 5 here, they're all where they need to be, but the rest of these cars are not. This particular car is going to the furniture factory, so we can click on this car if we wanted to. And let's say we want to move it there. It's got some brass parts that need to go to the furniture factory. So in the upper corner, right, or I'm sorry, I've got a cat that's playing with a toy right now and making a bunch of noise. I don't know if you can hear it, but I can sure hear it. It's distracting me. Okay, so above the track details, you have your move cars to destination box right here. So we'll go ahead and select the town, and then select the location we want to move this car to, which is Arcadia Furniture Factory. And then we can choose whether we want that car to go to the top of the track or the bottom of the track. That's going to basically say, do you want that car to be line 1 on your track or to fall to the bottom of the track? And in this case, I'm going to have it to the bottom of the track. So we're not going to change anything there. We'll click move. And now the car's at the furniture factory. That is how you move cars. Let's say you want to find a car. Well, we have an option for that. So you got the find car page right here, and you can go and search by various different bits of information. You can search the car by its number. Let's say you're looking for 253. There's 253 right there. We can go by initial right here, ACR, C&O, whatever you have. But this is basically going to go through and narrow down your search to whatever type of car you're looking for. Maybe you're looking for a specific, let's say a car that's going to the steel mill. You can do that. You see all your cars that are going to the steel mill that are basically set like that. So that's a search option for you if you're trying to look for a specific car on your layout. I have notes, and I'm trying to go through my notes here with everything just so I'm staying in order and, having like sort of a linear discussion here with all this. But so we've done that one. We're going to talk about applying a waybill to a car next. So we're going to click on a location. Let's go to a track that's got some empties on it. This lumber mill, perfect example. Now we got some flat cars here at the lumber mill. And let's say we want to have a loaded car going to the Conrail interchange. So we can click on one of these cars. We'll just click on the first one right here, and we can right click it and click apply waybill. This one's going to be an easy one. Lumber is the commodity. That's the first field that you'll enter in there. You can also check off if this is hazmat. So if it's like, I don't know, chemicals or flammable material, you can click hazmat. If it's like a transformer or something, you can click high wide. And if it's a car that's a hot priority, you can make a high priority car. The destination for this car is going to be Arcadia to the Conrail interchange. We can set the destination track if we know it. We know the track, it's Conrail interchange. We can also put routing instructions in here. If you put routing instructions in this box, it'll show up in the switch instructions field. Special instructions will show up as a line under any on your like printouts for your switch list or your work order. So if you have something like I don't know, let's say special instruction could say something like this car is gonna get scrapped afterwards. After it's empty, send to the scrapyard or something. Anything you want, you type that right there. It'll show up in that report. Anyway, we're done with the entry for this particular car. So now we can go ahead and click Save Waybill. And now we see that the car has been updated from an empty to a load. Its commodity is lumber. And then its destination is going to be Conrail. Town is ACR for Arcadia, or ARC for Arcadia. And then we got the Conrail interchange track listed right there. And then an instruction for pickup, because this car can now be picked up. Let's go ahead and do another car real quick. So I deselect this one, select this car here. Let's do this again, but let's say we have a car. It's going to be loaded with lumber. This one's going to go to, let's say, Cold Harbor, and there's like there's a house track at Cold Harbor that's gotten to get some lumber delivered to it. So we can set those up as well. Let's say for this particular car, we want to route instructions will be send to Bryson Yard or something like that. Send to Bryson Yard. Let's say, for instance, we want to save this as a template so that we can go back later on and quickly just apply this waybill to a car without having to go through all these steps. You can save the car as a template, or save the waybill as a template, and then when you get to here, you're going to name it, give it something that's going to be rememberable, and you're going to know what it is later on. So I can say lumber to cold. I'll say lumber to CH house track. CH house track, just like that. Save template. Okay, so now we got that. And we can go ahead and save the waybill. That's going to load it up. There we go. And we can see now we have our update for that. Now we should be able to go to the next car and apply a waybill from the template, and we'll go through all of our waybills that we've saved right here. We got one right here, lumber to CH house track. That's the one we just made. We'll go ahead and click on that. There it is, without having to do a bunch of extra typing and all that. Anyways, we got one more we're going to try here, which is apply a waybill to a car. But this time we're going to do things a little differently. So actually, let me go back out. So all cars in Yardmaster Plus, the logic in Yardmaster Plus is to say that every car isn't empty until you add a waybill to it, and that makes it a load. And then when you unload the car, it not only deletes the waybill, but it also makes the car empty again. And so when you do that, your car in its file has a return to destination, which is to the lumber mill in this particular instance, because this car is, even though it's not owned by the lumber mill, it's part of a pool that's assigned to the lumber mill. And this is a common practice on railroads today. So this car, when it's empty, goes back to the lumber mill so it can get reloaded. It's one of their cars or whatever, however that a contract or agreement works. But anyway, that's how that car goes. But on occasion, you're going to have a car maybe that needs to move empty somewhere that's not in its normal route. So you can go ahead and click apply waybill. At the top here, you have waybill empty move. When you do this, the car is going to it's not going to be an L or an E. It's going to be a W. That W stands for waybill empty. So now we've clicked this, and as you can see, now that that box is checked, we no longer need a commodity here. So that's all blanked out. We can still set the destination. This is going to go to Bryson. It's going to go to the scrapyard, I guess. Bryson scrapyard. There we go. That's the track I was looking for. And we'll say scrap this car. And then we can go ahead. We got our empty moving, hit save waybill. There we go. We got a waybill empty now. So that's a car going to the Bryson scrapyard. Let's say we made a mistake because, you know, sometimes that happens and waybills get applied to the wrong car. This car does not need to get scrapped. Please do not scrap this car. People will be really mad. That brings us to our next step. We can unload a car. This is going to remove the waybill off the car, and it basically just returns it to its default state. We can get rid of the pickup thing here. And then let's say we made a mistake with this car going to the Conrail interchange. It's a lumber car. It's going to the Conrail interchange, and, well, we don't want that to be the case anymore. Well, we can go ahead and just edit this waybill real quick. It's going to go to the Cold Harbor house track as well. Okay, now we got that updated. We can right-click a car. Let's say we want to see where that car has been. We can go to View Move History. And now it's going to tell us the last locations that this car has been located at. Let's go ahead and find another car, something that's moved around a little bit. Just as another example, I think this car's had a pretty big history. So click on this BN car right here, and we can see that it's been to the Conrail interchange. That was its last location before getting moved here. We just did that move a little bit ago. From there, it was at the Ela Green loadout. But basically, you can see all the last the moves that occurred on the car, all the last events. And this is a helpful tool. If you're ever in a situation where maybe the car is showing somewhere that it's not actually physically at, this happens even with the railroad. Sometimes you get that where the car is updated in the system to be at a certain location where it's not physically at. And then one of the first things that a Yardmaster is going to do is look at the car's history to go back and see where the car was before, because somewhere in that process, somewhere along that way, is probably where the car is actually at. So this is a helpful tool if you ever lose cars on your layout. Not that, I mean, you can just walk around and find it pretty quick, but in theory, there are situations where you have thousands of cars and you're, trying to pay attention to where they're all at. But that being the case, you can come here and you can kind of trace back to see if you can find the car. We'll just real quick go over to reports. We have a few different reports that we can do. The other report section is not as, you can just get like your rolling stock inventory if you want to like a print list. Maybe you're going to a train show and you want like a list to just kind of see what you have in your inventory. That's, maybe a helpful tool for that. And if you forget to print it out, you can always just pull it up on your phone and when you're at the train show and kind of see what you have if you're trying to look for something specific. But anyways, these are the important ones right here. So switch list and work orders. And let's talk about switch list really quick here. So in switch list, the main difference between a switch list and a work order is that they're going to both look the same, but a switch list is just going to be a printout of the track as is. So we'll just grab one track actually. It's just going to be a printout of the track as is. This is what it looks like right here. So we got our switch instruction there and all that. But a work order is going to be basically a switch list where you have instructions that you can actually add to the car. And so let's do a printout real quick. So this is what a work order will look like. So it's a switch list, but it also gives you a header so that you can add information about the job that it is and the work instructions on like how to perform that job. So that's how that'll work anyway. That's just sort of a preview of what we'll talk about in more detail in the next episode, which will be about trains and reports. So anyway, that's going to cover this video. And I kind of threw this together really quick. I'll come out with a better video in the future, but that should get us started. So I appreciate you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one.